What is up, guys? Coming back to you with part 3 of this series I've been doing, talking about the king of all lifts today. We are going with the deadlift. We're going to be talking about that. Going to go over some things like in the other videos. Not going to explain very much since we've already seen 2 of these. We kind of know the way these are going to go. So yeah, we're going to go over my progress, how far I've come in a year, why I don't do sumo, and why I do conventional, so the kind of comparison. We're going to talk about my hip positioning, where to start the lift, stuff like that. And then the bar path and my foot position has changed quite dramatically over the past couple months, I would say, and then for the full year. So we're going to be jumping right into all of that. I hope you enjoy, and without further ado, let's go. So if I'm looking at, this is the footage, so I'm gonna be looking here for most of it to tell y'all about it. This first clip here is a side-by-side of 315. Then we're gonna continue to clip with, this was exactly 1 year ago in a couple of days. As you can see, the speed there is quite dramatic. That is something I'm very proud of. It kind of just shows you, even though it's 315, it shows you how far you've actually come. Yes, I grinded this out for 5 reps, but we're looking at the overall speed for the single, which was quite drastic. So really loving the progress I've made on that portion of my deadlift. Then I think we're going to move into when I maxed out after the 5x5 strong lifts. So the way that program was, you did 1 deadlift day a week, 5 reps, that was it. And I picked up 365. That was my max out, so kind of cool. Before that, 315 was my max, so it did work, but there's a lot of mechanical things. You just watched me pick up 385. I know right before that I failed 390, 395, so pretty cool to pick up 385. That was only in a couple months. That was the change. And then the daddy of all competitions, a powerlifting meet, used 402, I believe, was the attempt here, and that lady would not get out of the way. But you can see it a little bit. This was probably a lot left in the tank. Watching that back, the speed was quite fast, but that was my first 400-pound deadlift ever. And now we're looking at the doubles I did literally 2 days ago. This was 352, and these were 4 sets of 2, and I believe this was my last set. Second or third or fourth set. So the speed is not there. What was on that rep? Holy crap. But yes, that's the culmination of 1 year of training. That's what I've come to so far. Let me pause this real quick. That's what I've come to so far. All I can say is, in that 1 year, my deadlift form hasn't changed drastically compared to maybe my squat and my bench. There's some big things I've changed. But for my deadlift, it's been very little changes, and you'll see that. So yeah, I guess with that said, let's talk about sumo versus conventional for myself real quick, and then we'll get into the little things that I have changed. You always ask yourself, sumo or conventional? Why did I start doing conventional? Well, I did conventional because I like the way it looks. Sumo to me wasn't very appealing, and I did not want to start doing sumo and then realize I could never pull conventional. So I went with conventional first, what I did everything with. And I used sumo as an accessory. I never went over 70%, but after my powerlifting meet, I decided, hey, I probably need to work on it because it can help with other portions of my conventional. So here is my, I think the culmination of a 2 or 3 cycles of 5-3-1 doing sumo. This was about 335 pounds. I think I did it for about 5, which is pretty good considering I haven't really done sumo. Form, definitely not there. Not gonna touch on that, haven't been doing it enough. But as I can say right now, I just feel more explosive with conventional. Sumo, I feel like I have to grind them more. Yes, it puts me in a safer position, but I feel like the weight just takes forever no matter what the weight is. 315 to here feels the same. As here, this is, I believe, pretty close to the same weight, 330. It's a lot more explosive off the ground, which makes it feel a lot better in the end. As you can see, that takes a lot less time. So right now my conventional is a lot better than my sumo just because of the time I put in. I did it because I like it, and I feel more explosive. So honestly, just do what you feel best with. It helps a lot to do sumo, but only by inches for most people. It decreases the range of motion, and it works with different muscle groups. So instead of using dominantly back and, you know, hamstrings, you can put some glutes in there. You can use a lot more of other parts to help you with the lift. Which brings me to the next thing, which is my hip position, which has something I've been fighting ever since I started. Here you can see every time I lift, my butt just shoots up, regardless of position. So what I've been really trying to learn is where to feel like I can set my hips in the most optimal position to start the lift before I lose all that energy with my hips shooting up. Because then when that happens, you put too much strain on your lower back, and that is not what we want. We want the hips to go in this direction when you lift, not this direction, if that makes sense. Because the deadlift, if it is a hinging motion, it's not really a picking up motion. So your butt should go, if this is where your butt is, when you pick up the bar going this way, your butt needs to go like this. It doesn't want to go like this. You don't want to meet them. Your butt is the hinge. You hinge around your glutes. So my butt doesn't come up as much as it used to, but it is still there. That is something I have been fighting. That comes back with the explosiveness. I want to stand up with it, and I don't want to be patient with it, which is something I will be fighting probably for a long time. But I thought I'd tell y'all so y'all can maybe start early, get the form down, learn from me, and don't develop bad habits before they happen. Lastly, guys, we're gonna be talking about my bar path and my foot position. Some things I didn't even realize I'd changed very much, but they're there. When I was watching back, these are things I came up with. So the first thing we look at is my bar path. As you can see, it makes kind of a J shape. It goes like this. No good. We do not want that. What we want is it to go this way. I think I kind of fix it better here. That bar path goes a lot straighter, which is, it's all about minimizing the distance. Shortest path, straight line, here to here. You don't want to go here, then here. Makes sense. You want to decrease the amount of energy you have to put into it by making it the shortest possible distance. Which is something that, you know, it takes time. You have to figure out where your foot position is, which is what I'm gonna talk about. What I have learned with my foot position is I need to literally cut, if your foot's here, cut it in half, straight in half. The bar should, when you can look down, you should be able to see both sides of your feet. And that's talking about your whole foot, not just what you can see. So you're taking your heel, the back of your heel, all the way to the front. So usually that's, a lot of the time for people, that's putting it pretty close to your ankle, maybe this far away. I know for me, it's almost touching my ankle. And that's something I had to learn, because I used to have it splitting what I could see, and that caused me to fall over when I was deadlifting. We don't want that. All about the energy you put into it, and hopefully getting the most out of it. And talking about this way with my foot position, now we're gonna talk about how wide my stance is. It's about shoulder width, maybe a little inside shoulder width sometimes. As you can see here, it is pretty much shoulder width apart. But that's not always how it was. In a second, you're going to see my feet are pretty much like this far apart, which it worked for a little bit, but I was realizing I was drastically increasing how far I had to go, and I was taking my glutes out of the equation because they weren't firing. So I was just talking about foot position is where you feel comfortable. Like I said, there's sumo versus conventional foot position. But whenever you're conventionally deadlifting, you want to be able to feel the most comfortable and, what's the word? Recruit as many muscle groups as possible at the same time to aid in your lift. If something isn't firing, like you can see here, my knees are way bowed out. We don't want that. Because that means something isn't firing, usually, is when you get in that position. Because if you think about it, if you tried to squat like that, you're not going to be able to, and that's the whole point. It's almost, you want to try and help it, make it, you want to make it like a squat as well. But for myself, shoulder width, maybe a little outside, maybe a little inside, depending on how the training cycle is going. But yeah, it's all about comfort. But the main thing is pick it, no pun intended, position, stick with it, get stronger with it, and then consistency. Do it for months at a time, not days at a time. But with that said, that's the end of all my footage, everything I need to talk about. My deadlift is probably the thing that's changed the least out of everything. So it's been pretty consistent. That's the thing that's shown the most progress. This is the only lift that's continued to increase from when I started. All the other ones kind of stalled out or had very minimal increases when I went to the powerlifting meet. This is the only lift where I hit what I actually wanted to do. So, with that said, guys, thanks for watching this series. Hope you learned something, take something from this, able to learn from my mistakes, able to get some ideas on what you can do differently in your lifts. Thank you for watching. As always, like, click, support, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hopefully I can grow the channel so I can reach more people and I can help more people, because that's really what I want to do, is help people who don't know or need the help. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with y'all in the next vlog, which is gonna be Sarah's meet day stuff.